Swallow. Blink. A deep breath. The loudest sound she'd make all day. The one that will never be heard. Well, only by her with the midnight coat. Each day continues. Nothing looks wrong to the average pony. And why would it? They aren't very observant to begin with. They notice nothing. Celestia, with her bright white coat and harsh radiance, chatters among them, as if she could lower herself to their level and call herself a pony, no longer content with what she was. She tries to forget, and Luna tries to talk. It's simple, right? Think of what to say, open her mouth, speak, keep her voice level, steady, and audible. Only it wasn't simple. Don't talk became can't talk. Her mind swarmed with details of the everyday, all the little sorrows and joys that bathed in the air around her. Everything sparkled like glass, so obvious, unlike her, noticeable. Each day was brighter, each night shunned even more, each star a curse. Mouth open. That was Celestia. Talk, talk, talking, smiling, welcoming, whatever they wanted her to be. She was the sun, and she burned. It wasn't that Luna didn't know what to say as hallways passed her eyes and the pony passed her like a ghost. Or maybe more like furniture, present but unimportant. What need was there to pay any attention to her? She knew exactly what she wanted to say. Always. Always. When she had spoken well. She knew everything that had to be said. Each syllable that would sound like thunder to her own ears if it were but a whisper. What made it difficult? She could see the road before her. Going in blind would be far, far easier. She sits next to Celestia on the forgotten throne. Half the room of stone, sharp angles and dull hues in a neat tomb, imperial beyond belief, majestic, and properly suffocating. It was gold. Sun gold. She blinked in pain. Yellow flowers knew of keep soft. These banners bled. Her gaze dropped. Every crack on the floor swam in front of her. Every speck of dust made itself noticeable. Luna drew a deep breath, just enough to quiet herself and not come across as bored. The noble droned on, ill-chosen words falling from his lips and cluttering the air with their meaninglessness. Each utterance is hollow. Every pony stood on the side of gold, the only one they could see. They nodded, jewels gaudy. Celestia gave the noble a smile. He must have said something she liked. Luna's mind dipped beyond noise. Her face was comforting, stoic look, always thinking. She was surrounded by ponies. Alone. Alone was but a different way to spell peace for this dark mare. She shifted quietly in her seat, forehooves quiet in front of her, slouching slightly. Luna looked distant, contemplative, maybe bored. Her mind screamed as she watched the mouth of the noble move. Each of his words was wasted, wasted, wasted. Celestia complimented his presentation, a mask of seriousness overtaking her pursed lips' smile before she allowed it to widen again. Luna wanted to cut the strings her sister had borrowed into herself. Blue eyes unnoticed as they watched the next noble enter. Symphony of clinks and ill-spent phrases and practiced greetings dropping to the ground before he entered the room. The walls echoed with their worthlessness. Luna's stare widens. She's completely forgotten now, eyes boring into Celestia. She does not hide their horror, raw and tearing. Celestia gives a kindly smile, veils a subject-centric thoughts, narrowing her vision as she is unaware of her shadow's distress, misery, panic. After all, Is it not the princess? Pretty, loved, popular, following the cues to make sacrifices? Luna watches as her sister bravely sacrifices the good of one for the mewling, silk-clad idiot's attention before her. One over many. It's the sun's way. Speak, speak, speak! Roars the thunder in her mind. Her vision swims. Every detail stands out, screaming and bright. The glitter of her sister's crown, the lace of her gown. The Everfree Palace sparkles with the recent cleaning in its honor of a new day. Slowly, Luna tears her gaze from her sister. The far wall becomes her focus. Her heart is steady. This is every day, and she tries to only listen to that. It doesn't work. All the sounds and stray vowels that drift through the air find her ears. Luna almost blinks. To her, it feels like a slow movement, but she knows it's far quicker. A faint tick, twitch that passes unnoticed of others. Not a dream. Her left ear pricks to catch the sounds like a fragment of her own thoughts. Not a dream. Luna remains impassive. She even yawns, but her blood feels cold. She can't tap Celestia or do anything to catch her attention. They had made a silent treaty signed with bitterness, stubborn will, and everything between them. Luna still remembers the sound of the screams in their last fight that tore at the mere scraps of the relationship then at that point. They were Celestia and Luna. Sisters in name only. Celestia ruled, and Luna? Luna's jaw twitches. 1 minute is over. Swallow. Blink. There are many more to come. She watches them pass, noble after noble, with greed in their eyes and money behind their words, as if some part of them knew that what they said could and would never be enough to a single should who dared to refuse gifts and other material curses that always came at a price. They sold their charity to the mare who sat on gold and gave her smile freely. Luna only smiled in memories, mirth only left over from distant recollections of youth. Happiness in words, all superficial things as she could be bought and sold by nobles. Or ponies, who after the long winter that plagued them finally had both. Luna felt anger arise in her throat. She bowed her head, parting her lips. Her mind overflowed with each declaration that would never be, till only her heartbeat filled her throat. She remembered nothing. Eyes under the thick mane which flowed about her face wild, aware. They saw all a pony did, their blue-green like neither the earth nor heavens, but somewhere in between, like an ink of purity in the new world of united tribes. Brilliant paint to illuminate every misdeed witnessed and falsehood spread. Tired eyes. Mad eyes. Twitch once before calming just enough to pass unnoticed. Her head rises up, mane falling to her side with more of a sound than she can muster. A natural regality is in the pose of her dark. She sits, always watching. Luna thinks herself like a mighty raven to her sister's praised dove. The noise drones on, polluting the castle background her mind has long wandered from. Inigo Mare's feathers rustle. Her posture slackens somewhat. Swallow. Luna's muzzle twitches. Blink. Celestia's proud voice summons the next noble, and Luna's silent rage wages on.